Now as a country and nation, all rise for the national anthem. We stand here together, united with pride, beneath our flag, waving gallantly on high. Across the land our people did ride, noble steeds of steel. Against the tide, longboats and galleons, they bring our people home. The old gods, they called us to the sacred stones. Nomads together, no longer we roam. We reap the fruits of the seeds we sow, for from tiny acorns the mighty oak grows. We're busting out of the box, we're breaking the mold. We're no longer trusting the fairy tales we're sold. No longer buying the poisons we're sold. The men and women of Wayward are going back to the old. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I am King Raoul Halvar of the Kingdom of Wayward, and this is the first video in our micronational review series. So as we've previously mentioned many times, we were going to and plan to do a series based around reviewing other micronations. We have got a small list of micronations to start off with, and today we're going to be starting with Ameristralia. And I think I've said that right. And again, I don't mean to cause any offense by mispronouncing anything or not knowing what you have said. Now, previously, I have already done the video on this micronation. I did it a while ago. So this intro to that video is the newer part of the video. So I've already done it. And I'm going to share my results with you in a moment. However, I just wanted to again just say this isn't an attack on anybody. This is not us declaring our hatred or even our love for any other micronations. We're not looking at cause and divide. We're not looking at any of this. This is like educational purposes. Let's just put it that way. It's just a way of sharing what other people are doing and comparing them with what we're doing. And are we really in the same category? Are we really in the same bracket? Is Wayward really a micronation if that is the micronational standard, or if the micronational standard doesn't meet our approval or what we see as we are, then maybe we will consider relabeling ourselves and not being associated whatsoever with micronationalism in the future. It's just again for those teeny weeny little reasons that we do hold the stance of a micronation and stand under that umbrella. But that umbrella only really shelters us from a small portion of downpour, where realistically in a majority of the sort of, you know, in that sense, the majority of the time, we aren't being rained on. We are living quite happily in the sunshine. It's just where there is a downpour, we do have the micronational umbrella that we use to shelter from it. Anyway, I'm not going to go on too long because I do want to focus on the micronations in the video, the topic of the video. And what we are going to be looking for is ways that micronation could potentially benefit us, how they benefit the outside world, and how they benefit their own people. Micronational leaders that are building a country or building this mini sort of community or nation, they should be held to some kind of standard. So the standard of, you know, what a micronation is already set and defined. It's already there. But for the purposes of argument's sake, we are going to break it down into sort of these little subcategories. What benefit is the micronational leader or that micronational country, community, how are they a benefit to their own people? Why should people join them? Why would people choose to abandon their own countries and join this country? If this country was a real world country and it just popped up one day as a real world country and just said, hello, hi, here we are, what is enticing people to come from their homeland to this new country, this new world? That's what we're going to be looking at, is how they benefit their own people and what benefit there would be if we as a person joined their micronation. We're also going to be looking at how they benefit the outside world as a whole. What do they do? What is their activity? Do they impact anything anywhere? Is it political? Is it environmental? What are they doing in the real world? Are they influencers on social media? Have they got a following because of something controversial? What is the output of this micronation? What benefit do they have for the real world? What are they giving back? And what benefit they are to us? What are their imports? What are their exports? Is their trade likely? Are they on a level with Wayward where we would consider that they would be somebody we'd reach out to in the future, or potentially even want to trade with on a long-term basis? Can they fit that criteria? Could they keep up with the supply and demand? If they do have an import exports, what benefit could they potentially be to not just myself but my own community? So those are the three things that we're going to be looking at, as well as standard micronational things, the micronational sort of criteria. Do they have a flag? Do they have a national anthem? Do they have, a landmass, a community? Do they have a website, etc., etc., etc.? And that's kind of what we will then sort of judge them upon after we've had the review and we've looked at them and we've gone through what we can find. So, without further ado, here is the video or the review on the Municipality of Ameristralia. Right then, let's get this started. I wanted to start on Twitter because I did put a post on Twitter originally that did not so much reach out for other micronations to get involved, but basically just put a vague thing here that said I was doing a YouTube series, or at least that's kind of what it is in a way, which is about other micronations, and I just thought I'd give them an opportunity to let themselves be known. I then went on into a little bit more detail, and you can read that if you really wish. But the point is that I have now got a list of other micronations. So I thought what I would do is I would start with the one that was here somewhere. Not that one, that's the Kingdom of Wayward, and we already know how awesome they are. This one. Because they've already got Twitter, so I can see that they're on Twitter, and they've given me a website. So they've already done some of the work for me. So yeah, and as I say, this isn't to criticize or to, just be a dick about micronational kind of governance or how people do their own micronations. It's just a way of gaining more knowledge on these things. Anyway, let's get started. Here we are. So what are we looking for? I don't know what their flag is. I'm guessing their flag is what's in the top banner, the red and the blue with the white, very American, but it's Ameristralia. The sovereign I can't even say this word, municipality. I guess, I don't know. We're going to have to go and find out what this means. A district with a government that typically encloses no other governed districts, a borough, city or incorporated town or village. The governing body of such a district. Fair enough. Right, okay. We've just learned something new. Because usually you have like principality or kingdom or empire, but yeah, that's the first time I've ever seen the sovereign Municipality of Ameristralia. Now I'm guessing it's something to do with America and Australia, but again, I'm just assuming things here just on the get-go. I've not clicked on any of these before. I've not gone and seen any of this before. This is all new to me. So I'm learning right now for the first time as I'm showing this, or at least recording this. So I'm just assuming that from what I've seen, the first ever thing I've ever seen of the sovereign Municipality of Ameristralia is their name and what I think is their flag. Yeah, we've got a link there to their website. We'll check that out in a minute. They got a sizable following on Twitter, 452 followers. I mean, it's not in the thousands, or hundreds of thousands. And again, that's not a dig at them. Micronations rarely get more than 1,000 followers. 400 is actually impressive in the micronational circles, because compared to people like David Tennant or John Cena, they have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. And that's kind of what I'm saying. You know, it's not like they're obviously not influencers on social media. Because they've only got the 452 followers. And I say only, again, not to be a, you know, a slight against them, but it's not massive, which tells me that they're not influencers or something like this. We're just gonna have a little scroll through here. There's their official website. It's the best place to find the information I require. Really? Okay. Right. Well, that's almost got me. That's almost got me. Oh, there's a Christmas address. Do I want to click on the Christmas address? Is that the first thing that we're going to see? Is it another link? It's just a link, isn't it? If I click on that, I've gone, yeah. That to me is just something that I'm going to have to download onto my phone or something like this. And it's like a PDF or something. And no offense, but if it was a picture, I'd just click on it and open it, you know, because it's convenient. So you lost me on that one. But we're not giving up. We're still having a look here. They're pretty on it, as in Twitter presence. As I say, I mean, there's a lot of stuff here. Oh, they've got a puppy. That's a nice, cute little puppy. The sovereign household welcomes Sir Walter Edward Henry McHornsby, Duke of Southby. So the dog's got titles, is that right? We call him Theo for short. He is a miniature American Shepherd. Oh, that's cute. He is cute. And is the 5th proper Ameristralian. Sir Theo is 8 weeks when we delivered him soon. So you have the puppy as a Duke of Sotheby. Yeah, it's not my place to say that, you know, dogs shouldn't really necessarily be counted, or animals shouldn't really necessarily be counted, but it's not our thing. If that was the case, we'd have so many other people, do you know what I mean, or citizens. I mean, I love it. You're involving the family or the dog or whatever. It's just, for me, it's kind of a bit like clutching at straws a little bit. But anyway, we'll move on. Let's see what else we can find. Got a lot of documents here. These are all documents. They remain neutral. That's good. That's a good sign. We'll stay out of politics in the global environment. See, that again is something I'm looking for. I'm looking for the micronations that start silly little arguments, or, you know, these things. Oh, look, it is. It's a little family. Oh, see, this is it. I mean, I can get on board with stuff like this. This is a family. Now, this is, again, just an assumption. I'm just seeing this for the first time. I've not asked any questions on this matter. But the official costume day 2022 photo of the sovereign children. So I'm assuming it's the royal family of the sovereign municipality, whatever. And that's cool. That's cool, because you're getting your whole family involved, and that's nice. And is this the king? Do they call him a king? I suppose he'd be a duke, would he? Happy costume day. HSL, David. What's HSL? His sovereign lord? Higher self lord? I don't know. His honorary Sir Lord David? I have no idea. Something I could potentially look up again, but we're not going to bother. Suppose he wouldn't be a king. I don't know. But I guess that's him. See, he looks like a decent enough guy. He's having fun with his kids. I'm looking at this, and not to go again assume, but I'm definitely thinking American, definitely thinking the States here. Maybe they're Americans that moved to Australia, or vice versa. But hey, anyways, moving on. He's getting his kids involved, and again, not a slight in the or intended dig in any way, because Wayward is the same. We like to get our children involved, and, you know, get them into the Bank and Treasury, get them into the micronational world, as you know, as it can be very fun. It can be. What's this? A donation page. Okay, so this is again something else that I'll be looking for, is what micronations are taking payments and monies. So oh, it's not them. So this isn't them. This is the Sonland government. Sonland. They're taking donations. Right, but the sovereign municipality of Ameristralia does obviously support this because they've retweeted it. Um, yeah, so maybe we'll put that on the list and write that down so we can check them out at a later date. The list is getting long now. What else have we got? We're also looking, like I say, for currencies. We're also looking for people that are taking donations. We're looking for flags. We're looking for all things micronational. Just micronational, nothing else, just micronational stuff. Okay, so they do medals. Is it an actual medal or is that just a computer image? Looks like a computer image to me. Maybe it's a social media, virtual reality type micronation. But then again, where does the dog live? The dog's a real thing, isn't it? So, yeah, Theo, the Lord of America, Australia, or Ameristralia. Again, I'm not gonna worry myself too much about trying to pronounce these micronational names. If you get offended by how I pronounce your name, choose an easier name. If you're gonna make your names hard to say, you're gonna have to. I'm just flicking through this. I mean, by all means, you can check this out yourself. I'm just looking for things that I'm interested in. There's a news network, weekly news and weather updates. Ooh, they have a YouTube, so we found the YouTube. Yeah, we'll definitely check that out. I think right now, though, I'm going to go and find out what the website's got to offer. Right, so their flag is red, blue, white, with this other. So hang on a minute. Right, so their flag is this with the banner and the shield as well, or is that a stamp over the flag? Is that the whole flag? It's a bit confusing. I don't know if you've just stamped a kind of a logo on the flag, or if this kind of coin, if you like, with the eagle or griffin or whatever that flying bird thing is. If you is that your stamp or your coin, and you've placed it on the flag as a header for the website, or is it like the acorn is the wayward, where it's actually a part of the flag? Let's keep looking. Oh no, there is a flag here. Here we go. All right, so we got medals. Are they real medals, or are they just photoshopped in? Because that kind of looks quite not animated. Yeah, like animated, I suppose. Computer generated. And then there's their flag in the background, so it does have the badge and things. And I'm guessing this is the coat of arms here on the shoulder. Not sure. And this must be the king or the sovereign Lord Mayor. I see. Visitors. Let's have a little look. Let's skim through this. I personally welcome you on behalf of the sovereign family, our government and citizens to the sovereign municipality of Ameristralia. Right, here we go. This is straight to it. This is good. I like this. Straight to the point. I founded it as a method to get my kids interested in understanding civics and public speaking. Love it already. Brilliant. Love it already. Over the course of the last 6 months, Ameristralia has developed far beyond my initial thoughts. We have had our ups and downs, but through the trials, we've developed quite a municipality. This is looking good. I'm actually quite impressed. This is actually looking good. Why not? Yeah. Yeah, like I said, get the kids involved. It's fun. It gets them thinking. It gets them learning. Definitely. Right, today we are at the home of 36 global citizens. Yeah, that's cool. It's actually, yeah, fair enough. Australia is constitutional monarchy featuring British-styled peerages. Hang on then. So we're called Ameristralia with British-styled peerages, okay? Our unique system differentiates our head of state and our head of government into a Westminster-styled structure. See, now I'm definitely thinking Australian, because that would make more sense. I hope there's more information on this. There is information, okay, tell me more. There is information and profiles on our government, a calendar of events and holidays, our Twitter feed below, and a library of forms for registering a business to studying for a degree. Okay, all right, well, that's new. That's definitely not something that I've read before or heard about. So we're going to get a degree from Australia. We're going to look into this. There is so much to learn about Australia here. I hope that you enjoy your visit. Well, let's have a little look. I'll tell you if I don't. Right, so I'm guessing the menu's here. We've got the About page. History. The Sovereign Municipality of Australia was founded on... Do you know what? I'm going to pause this. You can read it, and then I'll talk about it in a second, because otherwise I'm just wasting time reading it. So the first thing here, they've only been founded since 2021, so they are fairly new. So that's another thing we're going to be looking for, is the longevity of these micronations. And you know, in this year alone, he's gathered up a fair few citizens, and already I'm liking his approach and what they're going for. Let's move on and have a bit more of a look. So it looks like that they've had a restructure here, or a reform, in September this year. I wonder what that was about. Again, I am looking at this micronationally. I'm trying to do it as unbiased, or you know, with as much criticism as I could, or you know, if I wasn't as involved in micronationalism as I have been, or you know, am. So I can look at it micronationally, opposed to coming in here and just going, what are they talking about? What a bunch of absolute nutters. So I will be approaching it from a micronational perspective, as well as kind of an outsider's perspective. But on a micronational sense, it does seem like they've had a bit of a, maybe not an issue, but maybe a rethink of how they're going to structure it. So that's happened. And Brooke's title changed to its current form, his sovereign lord. The family became known as the sovereign family, with each child holding a hereditary peerage of a barony. Okay. Mrs. Brooke is officially styled Her Sovereign Grace the Duchess of Brookfield in her own right. Right. So what are you doing there? Where are you? What's the story in Australia? So what's this here then? This is the Lord Mayor, because this is different, isn't it? Let's just go. Oh, we can't go back. Oh, what have I done now? No, we can't go back to the coat of arms that was on the other guys. Is the same guy? Is the Sovereign Lord Mayor the guy the picture was on? Because he didn't have this. Anyway, right. Again, pause it and you can read it, and I'll just chime in as and when. They put this whole list here. Someone's taken the time and the trouble to actually put all of this in here. He's got the Sovereign Eagle, or the Grand Companion of the Royal Order, Sacred Phoenix, and all this. But this means nothing, does it? This doesn't really. I know it's their history and stuff, and you know, if I was to write their history and stuff, I'd probably write stuff way Woodian that, you know, outsiders wouldn't know about. But it is like a lot of stuff to take in. Royal Order of this, the Royal Order of that, the Defence Forces. I mean, yeah, I just want to know what your situation is micronationally in a physical form. There's a lot on here about you know, their micronation and how it's run in their government structure and stuff. But I'm yet to find out, you know, how big it is in land mass, or what their input is, you know, on a grander kind of scale. They've got 7 ministries within their government. That's quite set out. Wayward has 12. Let's see what they've got. Ministry of Immigration and Citizenship, we don't have that. Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade, we do have that. Ministry of Treasury and Investment, yep, got that. Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources, yep. Ministry of Defence, of course. Ministry of Health and Human Services, yep. And Ministry of Education. See, we've got Ministry of Education and Health and Human Services. We put that under one bracket. But yeah, I mean, they got 7 there. We don't actually have an immigration and citizenship thing. That's kind of just, again, human services, or you know, human resources. But yeah, they seem to have thought it out, considering they are really new. But why the name? Where are you, and what are you ruling over? So these are the people. These are the people. They don't have. They have the positions, but they don't have people in them, I guess. But they are fairly new. You can become a citizen, diplomatic relations, and Discord. So they're a Discord. Now, I don't have Discord, so we won't be looking at Discord today, because, again, I'm not going to be going out of my way to find out more information if it's not available to me. It has to be readily available to me. That's the point. I want to be able to, and this is why I chose the Sovereign Municipality, or however it's said, of Ameristralia first, because they gave me a direct link straight to their website. So it was easy, it was good to get on, quick and done. But all of this is, oh, hang on, what's this? I thought it said Australia law at the bottom, but it doesn't. It's Australia law. All of this is just information that basically isn't giving me a lot of information about what I want to find out. The government, elections. I mean, what's the government? What have we got here? All of these are to be confirmed, are they not? There's a lot there. You can read it if you want. You can pause it and read it, or just check out their website. I will put their website as a link in the bottom as a courtesy, so you can check it out if you want to. But I wanted to check out their YouTube. So this is their website. It does have a lot of stuff on it about their micronation, but nothing that really helps me understand how active they are in the real world, apart from on on Twitter and Discord, right? And with out and about doing stuff with the kids and the family. Let's get back to Twitter. Right, I've come back to Twitter because there was a YouTube link and I wanted to check that out as well, because again they're making it very easy for me, and this is good. This is good. There's the dog again, little Theo, the Duke, apparently. I'm sure there was a YouTube link. Right, so this is their YouTube. I've on their videos. What have we got? 2 months, 3 months, 3 months. It's not a lot of videos. It only goes back 33 views on 4. It only goes back 4 months, and I think this is literally just kind of citizen type content. A little bit like what we do for Waywoodians in our Facebook group and on Patreon. This is not a level of consistency that I think I would be happy with, because I've just looked. This is all the videos they've got, and 4 months ago they were doing these videos, and it looks like they may have been doing them every week, because you've got in August, comes up there, the dates almost, and then we've got news and weather. There's no consistency, but then we jump to September, and then that's that. So if this was my only way of getting news, or whatever, then I'd have been lost for the last 2 months. But you're obviously still active. Let's check this out. Right, okay. It's no voiceover. It's just music. This is it. Okay. Well, to be honest, this is actually better than our Waywoodian system. We don't get pictures. So, I say better, it's not. We actually get it almost every day. Our updates on the weather. We just don't get pictures. But I think this is all it is for this video. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that I thought there was going to be a little bit more information on Ameristralia itself. Nothing happening. That's it. Let's try this one. This is weekly update. Oh, we're getting official now. We are getting official. We've got the news. We've got the globe spinning. We've got the music. Are we going to have a presenter? Are we going to have the personal touch, or is it all just going to be a kind of AI technology dealing with machine kind of micronation? Okay. It's Monday the 26th of September. Okay, they're writing on the thing. There's writing on it. Again, not very personal. I'm really struggling to read this. Citizens are reminded that ballot keys will be sent via your email registered. See, I only just got the end of that, and I could only read it because it was in white. Yeah. Anyway, right, okay, wasting more time, I think, because it's just, that's all it is, I think. Yeah, that's all it is. Right, okay, let's move on. Let's Google this and see what comes up. Okay, so the first thing that's come up is a micro wiki article here, which is the Sovereign Municipality of Ameristralia. And then the one below that is actual wiki, which is come up with Australia. So let's see what comes up on here. Right there, the Sovereign Municipality of Ameristralia. Yeah. More information. Oh, we have got a location. So they are in Australia. That's where they are, in Victoria specifically. So I wonder why it's America, Ameristralian. You Americans that moved to Australia, or am I just missing the point here? I don't know. Anyway, it's interesting. Well, I say it's interesting. It depends on your perspective, I guess. But there's their flag. There's the crest. I don't know where the sheep come into it, to be honest. But there we are. Right. The Sovereign Municipality of Ameristralia takes its name from the founder's dual citizenship as American and an Australian. There we go. Look at that. So it was implied in the name, because you never know with these things. As a sovereign micronation with such a small land claim. Okay, so they have claimed their land, which is 1,216 meters squared. Fair enough. Fair enough. Again, I mean, I haven't got much to say about it, to be honest. They're not claiming the moon. They seem to have land. In fact, they've got over 1,000 square meters of land. They seem to have, all the hallmarks and, legitimacy of a micronation. So I haven't got many qualms about it, to be honest. They want to teach children about government and economics, and I can get on board with that. I think anything that's teaching children about the real world in any way is always good, because otherwise they're just walking out and being blindsided, aren't they? Government and politics. See, this is short and simple. This is actually more easier to digest than the actual website, I feel. Should have just come here first. We know all this. We learnt this earlier. You do have a system. Law and order. The Supreme High Court of the Sovereign Municipality of Ameristralia is the highest court, and it is made up of 3 justices who are selected by the Executive Council. See, I'm guessing you mean judges. You mean people, I guess, that are looking over the proceedings of law and order. And if it is, Wayward is the same. We have 3 judges in any case when it's dealt with Waywardian. So, yeah, fair enough. Foreign relations. He's the head of state and the official representative of Australia. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Military. Okay. He just has I suppose, make-believe royal army. I'm not sure. They serve as the defence. So I'm guessing that's probably another dog, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that's the thing where we could do is we just make our dogs the warriors of our nation. They'd make very good soldiers. Geography and climate. Well, I don't really care about what your cold your country is. But now we know that you are, in Australia and stuff, we can guess that it's pretty hot. Economy, what you got? You got your own dollar. Right, okay, and what's it made out of? Paper? It's been converted to a banknote. The Australian dollar was tied to the banknote at a rate of 1,000 to 1. So, are you saying that you'd need 1,000 of your paper things to make 1 Australian dollar? Is that what that means? In Australia, fiat Australian US dollars were also accepted as legal money. Well, of course they are. Of course they are. And I bet if I brought a Stamarian silver stater, you would take that as well. Yeah, because you need it. You need the finance. Maybe not from Stamarian silver, but you need the finance from Australian and US dollars, because your bank doesn't have a currency that is backed by anything. It's just paper. Let's have a look. It was set the same price as 2 4-packs of Woolworths 4 and 20 meat pies. Is that out of date? Because Woolworths is shut now, right? They've closed down. So is that up to date? And how much is the price of a 4 and 20 meat pie? Um, yeah, or is that what is backing it? If I were to use this paper money currency and I came to the Bank of Ameristralia and said I want to take out my share of what this note represents, this promissory note, is that a promissory note for two 4 and 20 meat pies? Because I suppose that's something if you've got the pies to meet the demand. Yeah, not a lot of clarification on that. But the dollar may be traded on the Stellar network and on the municipal Discord channel, where it is controlled by the Sovereign Bank of Ameristralia Bank bot. I see. So we're going back to virtual reality here. Then what can you do with them? If I were to go now and make a Discord account or whatever, get in there, invest in some of these things, what would I get for that? What am I getting? Users may use the bot to deposit, withdraw, pay, or receive cash and enable it to retain the funds in the same way that a traditional fiat bank would. Yeah, but what can you do with it? Users that purchase American dollars on a Stellar exchange may deposit the token with the bot, which will sync their account to the blockchain. See, again, this doesn't mean anything to me. Yeah, I'm sure your economy will be booming in no time. Yeah. Again, not trying to sound like I'm judging too much, but I just don't believe that this is viable if you're going to be an independent community. But as they say, they're not looking for independence. Really, they're still looking to use the American and the Australian dollar. Whereas eventually, Wayward would hope that in years to come, we would be using those other countries or macronational currencies less and less. They do have, I'm just seeing here now, they do have a whole list of national holidays. The Sovereign Municipality of Ameristralia celebrates the following national holidays. New Year's Day. Well, that's good. That's good that you celebrate New Year's Day. See, Wayward actually celebrates New Year Day in the spring when the seasons restart. But yeah, the Lord Mayor's birthday. Yeah, we've got the King's birthday. Easter Sunday, Easter Monday, Mother's Day. So basically, every other day that other people, celebrate. You got Father's Day, yeah, Foundation Day, Sovereignty Day, Father's Day, Costume Day. 31st of October. You mean Halloween? We don't celebrate Halloween. That's why you've changed it to Costume Day. Okay. All right. Fair enough. We also have a list of holidays and things like this. We do have our own bank holidays and patron saint days and birthdays and things like this. Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. References and notes. Fair enough. Right, here we are on their Facebook. What have we got? The Sovereign Municipality of Ameristralia. That's their flag again, and that's it. That's the only cover photo they've got. So we're back to the Griffins. We've lost they're not Griffins, are they? We're back to the Eagles, are they? Anyway, we've lost the sheep. Don't know what that was all about. The letter T, because that's in some ways significant. And that's that T and that. So, fair enough. Yeah. Just simple, cheerful. They got 0 likes and 0 followers. Interesting. But again, they are new. They could have just set this up a couple of weeks ago for all I know. What we got here? They've got an email address, obviously, but it's an actual email address. Ameristralia@ameristraliagov.com. It's not like an old school address or a work address for something else. 20th of November they created this, so maybe they haven't just gone public with it yet. What else we got? Oh, they are putting things out there. 4 hours ago, in fact. They got the Sovereign family sends our holiday wishes to all. Obviously 4 hours ago to when I'm doing this video, which is Christmas Day. While I've got an hour to myself. This is my Christmas present to myself. Having a look at the Sovereign Municipality of Ameristralia. They got the news on their website there, so I'm supposing YouTube isn't used anymore, and they now just use their website. Let's just see what this says. As we approach the holiday season, we ask if you are okay. Holidays can be full of family and joy, but for many others, it's lonely and sad checking on each other. Fair enough. You know, you seem like decent people. You do. Though I don't know who you're talking to with your 0 followers and your very basic Facebook. I wanted to just make sure that it was rather basic before I made that statement, and I've basically reached the end of their Facebook page, but they're obviously more active elsewhere in the social media community, but there they are on Facebook. Right, I've come back over to the website because I want to see if I can find out anything more about what they're up to. No, we've done the history. What else have they got? Events. Are they holding events? Boxing Day, government event, the office close. Okay? It's not even an office party. It's not even an office party or anything. It's closed. Boxing Day, we're closed. That's the event of the year. We're closed Boxing Day. Right. And then we got the calendar here, which I imagine is exactly the same as everybody else's calendars. Or one would imagine or assume. Yeah. Okay. That's that. Alright. Not what I would call need to know or something to rush on the website to see. Kind of want to click on these. Not yet. We've got Foundation Day. It celebrates its Foundation Day on the 13th of August. Our nation has grown from an idea into a well-developed... What was the idea, though? Culturally rich community in less than a year. Fair enough. Of global citizens. Fair enough. As we celebrate 1 year as a nation, we remember the trials we have faced and look in the future towards the goals we wish to achieve. The sovereign family, on behalf of our government and great municipality, send our heartiest well wishes and happiest blessings. Fair enough. And you got the municipal honours presentation, which is scheduled for 11 a.m. When? When? On the Foundation Day? Is that a separate thing, or is that a part of it? Okay, well, on the 13th of August 2022, they did hold their... hang on a minute. Maybe I've got something wrong here. They said that they've celebrated 1 year as a nation. Okay, so I must have read it wrong before and got confused. It wasn't this year they were founded. It must have been 2021. Or I suppose now we're in 2023. So it wasn't 2022 they were founded. It was 2021. Either way, they're very relatively new. But they did a presentation of municipal honours on that day. At an event, I imagine was an event somewhere, or was it just, again, I don't know how involved the community is. Foundation Day fireworks show. Well, they had a fireworks show, so there must have been somebody there. The day's activities will be capped off with a fireworks show presented on YouTube for our global citizens to watch live at their convenience. The national anthem and a moment of silence for reflection will be held. Okay, well, we didn't see this. Did we see this? Maybe we missed this. Okay, so we've got a flag. Is this their national anthem? I'm guessing it's a national anthem right there. Oh, come on. Really? Really? I thought this was going to be real fireworks. I thought this was actually going to be an actual fireworks display with an actual community at an actual event. This is like a virtual reality thing, right? This has to be a virtual reality based micronation, you know, online and not necessarily so much in the real world, because their only events is literally online based. There's no way to get involved. And again, it's just something that we look at. How involved is the community? How involved are the citizens of their micronation? Let's have a little look at the government tab. Oh, you know, we saw that. travel, entry and visitation. Here we go. Entry and visitation. The visa information. Travellers to Ameristralia are required to possess a valid entry document commonly called a visa prior to entering Ameristralia. Whether you are a tourist or passing through as a port of call, you must acquire a visa. Visas provide the Australian government and applicable agencies with information on who you are, what your travel is for, and how long you plan to stay in Australia. Our government uses this information to communicate with your nation of residences applicable agencies to ensure you are. Hang on a minute. Our government uses this information to communicate with your nation of residences applicable agencies to ensure you are able to travel. It is safe to do so and to assist in the case of an emergency. It is illegal to overstay your visa. If you overstay a visa, you will be charged with an offence, extradited from Australia, and face a fine of up to 100,000 AMR and permanent ban from entering the municipality in the future. AMR, what's AMR? I don't know what AMR is. Is that actually Ameristralian dollars? Is that what you're talking about? 100,000 America? Because if they're banned from entering your municipality in the future, you're never going to see that, mate. You're never going to get your meat pies back. Nope, it ain't going to happen. You want to get some contracts on the go, I think. Unless that's what your visa is, but still. Requirements for entry. Visitors to Ameristralia must meet the following requirements in order to enter the municipality. Not be convicted felon of violence or drug-related offences. Not be under punishment of the justice system for committing an offence. Be free from warrants of arrest. Not be from a nation that is not recognised by the Australian government. Possess a valid passport from a nation recognised by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade. Have pre-booked lodging arrangements. Be able to support yourself for the length of your stay. God, it sounds like it's a fun place to go, doesn't it? It's like all the goody two-shoes, isn't it? All the goody two-shoes. But hey, be safe. Be safe if you have got your own community to look out for and obviously your family and your children. Be safe. What you cannot do in Australia as a visitor. I don't even know how I'm supposed to bloody visit. So I wouldn't worry. I don't know how to get there because there's no information of what you even are. Anyway, as a visitor of Australia, you must adhere to all decrees and municipal and ward laws. You want to get them to sign that, get a contract on the go. You are not allowed to do the following. Work or seek employment. You're not allowed to work as a visitor. Oh, as a visitor, okay. Perform services, overstay your visa, vote, and collect social service benefits. Fair enough. Moving on. What happens if you overstay? I don't know. They'll probably just ask you to leave, and that'll be that. What do they do? Extradite you probably. Doesn't actually say. Just contact them. Well, it shouldn't be hard because if they're in your 1,000 square meters, they could just shout you from across the way, couldn't they? And just say, "My visa's expired. What do I do?" Apply for an entrance document. No, I want to become a citizen. Application for citizenship. Oh, here we go. Application for citizenship. So I have to apply. The Sovereign Municipality of... Here we go. The Sovereign Municipality of Ameristralia, Ministry of Immigration and Citizenship. We have to give our name, our date of birth, our macronational residence, our micronational citizenships. Also, you have to declare that. I suppose I can't see what the next page is. No, it's all required. Let's see what happens if I go to Discord. I don't have Discord. Brooksy has invited you to join Australia Gov. I don't want to join Australia Gov, so I don't understand Discord. So you've lost me already because I don't want to accept an invitation to something I know nothing about. So yeah, sorry, Brooksy. It's not going to happen today. Right, well there it is. The Sovereign Municipality of Ameristralia. Overall, not bad. Not a bad first one. Anyway,
not a bad first one. Had everything that I would say would make it a functional micronation. It has a territory, it has citizens, they've got a structure. They don't have a currency as far as I'm concerned. They have pieces of paper, so their currency is null and void. Um, yeah, I think they've thought about it a lot, and they're not that old. They're older than I thought they were, but they're not that old either. So they got definitely got room to expand, definitely got room to grow, definitely a lot better and more organized than some micronations I've seen. Although this is the first in this series, I I have seen obviously other micronations in the past. Some of those some of those are on my list. However, today I'm just concentrating on Australia. And yeah, I think in regards to its success, I think that they obviously have the right drive. They've obviously got the right idea. Um, they don't seem to OTT with anything extreme. That's not to say they are or they're not. I mean, I don't know. They haven't put anything down for religious views. They haven't put anything down, as in it that screams an obvious red flag. But would they put that in the public eye? Who knows? I don't know how I would visit them. I suppose I'd contact them I'd submit a visa and go and do it that way and visit them. There's not really a lot else there, really. There's no, just have another little look. Nothing about imports, exports, or trade or produce or anything like that. Um, but I mean, fair enough. They've got the website, they've got the social media. Their YouTube is a little bit bland, and they're definitely not using Facebook to its full potential. But like I say, it's their house. We are currently in their house, or at least looking in through the window. So while we're looking in through the window, we'll just have a little snoop and then move on. And yeah, in the next video, we'll check out another micronation, and yeah, this is the sovereign municipality of Amastralia.
Benefit is there to us.
So, what benefit is there? What benefit is there in the sense of this micronation? Now that we have seen them, now that we have watched them, now that we have actually gone out there and seen what they have to offer, what benefits are there? Because they do boast and gloat about a few little things like their education and that you can get a degree, but I didn't see anything that made that simple. I didn't find any educational aspect of it where, well, I could be wrong. Like I said, by all means check it out yourself. It's just it wasn't easily accessible. I didn't see it. I didn't see a tab that said, get your degree here. So as a citizen joining up to take advantage of that, there wasn't a lot of information there. So realistically, that one thing that I would have been interested in, I didn't get a lot of information back. But I suppose if I was more dedicated, I would have looked into it more or just sent an email, I guess. But again, I couldn't find anything to do with the degrees that they were talking about. But I also didn't see anything that they exported or imported. They don't have any sort of produce. They don't have any resources. It doesn't seem like they have any sort of economy whatsoever. They have a currency based around meat pies, but they don't make those meat pies. In fact, they get them from Woolworths, a place that in the UK has been closed and non-existent for a while now. So again, we're going to have to say that currency, as far as we're concerned, is naff, not at all financially functional, because it doesn't do anything. It's naff. That currency is naff. Their education I couldn't see, so I can't say what benefit that would be to anybody. Currency certainly isn't a benefit to anybody. Even their weather and news station on YouTube isn't really a benefit to a citizen at all. There's no consistency. I could be wrong. Perhaps when I become a citizen, I could be opened up to a world that I didn't know about. Just like with Wayward, people could say that Wayward, as Waywoodians, you don't get a lot, but we have all ours behind the scenes, and we feel we make that quite clear, and we advertise that quite clearly, that if you do want to take advantage of the Waywoodian world, you need to become a Waywoodian. Perhaps it's like that, but I haven't been able to see what benefit it would be for me to become a citizen of their little country. I haven't, not yet anyway, not through what I've seen in that video. But they do have land. I mean, they just have over 1,000 square meters of land, but that could be a garden, that could be their house. It doesn't specify what it is, so we don't know if it's agricultural, we don't know if it's commercial, we don't know what it is. We just know they have a land mass. And again, we're not here to pick on micronations for not having land. I'm very fully supportive of people that want to create a micronation within their own houses and their own gardens, if they're doing something alongside it to actually make it a functional place. You know, if you've got a half an acre garden and you've turned it into a, you know, like I say, a blacksmith's forge, or you've got an artist studio at the bottom of the garden, so your main export is, you know, paintings or whatever, you could argue that that is a functional way that the nation is making its money, making its economy based solely on what they're producing. I mean, that's something more than a lot of micronations, but I couldn't find any import, exports, or anything at all. So who's to say how sort of viable it is in that regard? Because joining as a citizen would be more viable if I was sort of like, oh, you've got land, you've got produce, you've got resources. But again, you say you've got land, but there's no pictures, there's no evidence of this. It just says what it is, and I'm assuming it's probably a garden. Again, not an issue with it. It's just it's not like it's not going to get bigger, it's not going to expand unless you're going to have people living in your garden in tents and whatnot, which maybe you will, I don't know. It's just though you say you have land, which again, respect, that's respect. You've claimed a land territory which you have access to, if it is indeed something that you have access to. Again, it's non-specific. If it's a family home, if it's a commercial car park, if it's on the moon, who knows? We didn't find that out, but they are based in Australia, so I'm assuming that they own a small section of the Australian earth that is there, whether it be a garden or land or whatever. I just don't see it being utilized. So again, as a citizen, I don't see a benefit of that. In fact, as a citizen, if you were a citizen, I would actually have to join or sign up, and then to come and visit, I would need to fill in a visa, which would be illegal to, you know, outstay, and there's no real clarity on what that means. There's no actual way to kind of see what you get as a tourist of your nation. Again, if tourism is your main sort of you know, where you get your money from, or that's how you fund your micronation, or if that tourism is what is boosting your economy, then fair enough. Every other country does it. They have a boom in tourism industry, and that is what's making their money. So potentially you have a boom in tourism industry, but again, I'm not likely to join up to come and visit and fill in a visa form if there's no incentive, and I don't see an incentive. But overall, I mean, potentially, as people that, you know, have a community of people, or say they have a community of people or citizens, they're potentially in real world doing real world things that we don't know about. So I'm not going to say that they're not doing that and that it's not viable to join. It's just not viable from an outsider who lives in the UK, far, far away, to say, oh, let's join up and be a citizen of that country, because I'm never going to be able to get any benefit from it. There just is no benefit at all, as far as I'm concerned, as a citizen. In regards to benefits to other people, or benefits to, you know, people outside in the real world, I don't see any real like import export. There's no contribution. There's no, I mean, they accept the Australian and American dollar, but that's just helping America and Australia boost their own economy based around that same macronational system that they are trying to become independent from. But again, it's because their money is naff. It's not at all functional. It's not at all financially functional. It can't be used to do anything with. So realistically, they aren't really necessarily giving anything back to the general wide real worldwide peoples. As to say, they're not holding events. They're not, as far as I can see, they're not holding fundraisers. They're not doing anything in regards to, you know, making themselves known that they are this micronation. We're influencers on social media, and we encourage, you know, people to come out, and they've got like 100,000 followers on Twitter because they're encouraging people to come out there and be true to themselves and be confident, etc., etc. And they go on to their YouTube and they're doing these inspirational, motivational speeches to their citizens, kind of thing, or to the general public, and that's why they've got their following, you know, because they are preachers, if you like. They're preaching their goods, they're talking about it, and they're putting it out there. What we can do for you in the real world, we can do this, we can do that, but again, there is no real benefit to the real world that I could see. No import, no export, so they're not producing anything that people are reliant on. They're not going out there doing anything environmentally that I could see. Potentially they've got 100 chest freezers that are filled up with these Woolworth pies. I mean, that's not very environmentally friendly, having 100 freezers running all at one time. Again, I'm not trying to make assumptions, it's just it's not very clear. But again, it's their house, so I suppose they've got it all figured out. And in regards to Wayward itself, what benefit is there to Wayward in this example? None. They're too far away. They're located too far away geographically. They have no import exports that we know of. They don't actually have any kind of interaction outside in the real world that makes them sort of appetizing to us. There's no events. There's no participation with what I can see other actual real life people. I was, like I say, I got my hopes up with a firework display that potentially they could be out there in the Australian outback, standing on their 1,000 square meters bit of land with their citizens, their 30-something citizens, and they're there watching an actual real life fireworks display that has been put on by the governing bodies of that micronation for them all to enjoy in a real world setting. But there isn't any of that. We realistically, from a Waywoodian perspective, we have nothing to learn from them. We have nothing to gain from them. Our weather could probably do with a bit of a bit of a sort of a bit more of a refresh, a bit of an uplift. They've got nice pictures. We don't get pictures. All of our weather is done in text, but we get weather every day, or near enough every day, for the United Kingdom especially, and that is done through the Waywoodian Weather Station from our own weatherman who provides that for us, which is actual factual weather. It's not just made up in a fantasy land of Wayward. It is real weather in real time. But apart from their use of pictures in their weather reports, again, we don't really have anything to learn from them or anything to kind of see, oh, they're doing that the same as us. We could evolve that, or we could grow that, or do that. Do you know what I mean? There isn't any real benefit there. So frankly, as far as we're concerned, they aren't really a benefit at all to the outside world. But that shouldn't exclude them as a micronation, because with all rights and respects, they are a functional micronation to some degree. They do have a flag, and from what I can tell, they have got a national anthem. They've got governing bodies. They've got a structure. They have got an educational system, apparently, and you can visit there if you fill out a visa. When we're looking at land, yes, they've got that. Have they got the flag and the national anthem? Yes. Have they got citizens? Apparently so, but we're yet to see any of these citizens. But these people are real life people. They have a dog who's a duke. That's an actual physical thing. So, you know, potentially, if you recognize the dog as a duke, that is the picture of one of their citizens. So they do exist to some degree. There are pictures of them. They're not completely social media anonymous, where you never see any pictures of them. There are pictures and content of them out there. So realistically, what we're looking at here is an actual micronation that's got to a point, again, it's got to a point where it's filled its purpose, it's fulfilled what it wanted to do, and now it's just growing what it planted. Helping children learn and teaching them the real world governing system, if you like, or how the world is run, or how governing is done, and financing and stuff like this. An educational program. That's what that is. As far as I'm concerned, as a micronation, you couldn't necessarily class it as a micronation, because it's not functioning as a country. It's functioning as an educational program. It's functioning as a homeschool or an alternative school for children who want to learn about the real world economics, or the real world stage, or the real world governing. So is it an actual micronation if it's not thriving to continue being a country? I mean, that's up for debate, I suppose. But from my opinion, I'm going to have to say that yes, it's a micronation, but it is on that level of, as again, this is just a category thing. This is just a category thing. It is on that level of fast food restaurant. Fast food restaurant, because it's not a burger shack. It's a lot better and more established than a burger shack. The burger shack micronations, you know, they will make themselves known. And I'm actually really glad that this first micronation we've reviewed isn't a burger shack. This is actually one that I've gone, oh, this is actually quite an established, you know, good micronation. It does seem to tick all the boxes. Is it doing the same as Wayward? No. Is it going to ever be on the same level as Wayward? I doubt it. However, should it not be recognised? And to be honest, I think it should be. I think in some way, yes, they have every right to have that country as their country. They have every right to say, this is our 1,000 square meters, it's our country, this is how we do things, and this is us. But as a functional country, and evolving further than that, I don't think, without import export, without being consistent, without actually having some real world community, I don't think it's not as functional as the gourmet restaurants. I wouldn't say anyway. For educating kids, fantastic. For a bit of fun online, brilliant. But in the real world scene, or in the real world, I can't necessarily say it would ever be a functional country without doing a few other things to keep it consistent and keep it kind of a benefit to others. And before I go, I just want to clarify as well, I know that macronations aren't benefits to everybody, and I know that they're not always a benefit to their own citizens. It's just, I like to think that if micronations are going to be taking the lead here and they've made their micronations an alternative system, then I hope, or at least I like to think, that it's based around a change or a better way, and there's no better way than being benefits to other people that aren't actually yourself. Selfless acts of kindness and ways to give something back, doing it because you're passionate and because you care, doing it because you want to inspire change and a better way for future generations. When you benefit other people and you help other people, they in turn will help other people, and so on and so forth. When you hurt people just hurt people, and it continues like that. So in regards to the benefit of people, I'm not necessarily saying that we need to take advantage of them and they need to give us things, or otherwise they're no good. It's a case of, in a real world situation, how beneficial would they be if they were a real power in the world, a real country, and how functional would they be if they were a real world country? If we decided that we were going to take Australia away and say, right, Australia is gone, everybody in Australia just emigrated one day, and all that was left was Ameristralia, and they claimed the whole of Australia of Ameristralia, and there's only 39 of them there, at what point do more people come to join their country based on what they have now, based on what is solely available right now? What would be the enticement? What benefit are they to the rest of the world? What a benefit would they be for us to try and get trade or whatever? And I don't see any real benefit. I see a benefit to the children, or their children specifically, because they have that system of education and teaching kids. But I do feel that this is probably kind of more restricted to their own children or family members and friends, rather than an actual school commercially where they say, right, anybody out there in the Australian mainland can come into Ameristralia and learn and go along with it or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's actually a proper established educational system. Rather, they just teach they're using it to teach their children, which is great. And I did express that. I love that. I think that's fantastic. It's a great reason to start a micronation. I just don't think it is on the same level as what Wayward would hope to achieve in the future, when we get to a point of wanting to stop. Because one day we'll stop and be happy with where we are and say, right, now we're just maintaining what we've grown. But while there's all these seeds to plant and there's all these things to maintain and all these things to consider as we build a country, we're not just stopping. We're not just stopping with the basics. We want to evolve more. We want to evolve and grow. And as this micronation obviously has only been around since 2021, I do expect that potentially they will continue to grow. And I may obviously see them in the future as a micronation worth getting involved with, or at least supporting in some way. In fact, as a rule now, I think in the future, I'm going to show support to these micronations that I deem as micronations by continuing to follow them on their social medias, whereas if I find micronations I don't think are necessarily worth my time, we're just going to unfollow them and stop the hassle, though we will still do the review on them. Anyway, that's that for now. I've gone on far too long, but I just wanted to clarify. I just wanted to get the kind of point across that we're not here to attack them. We're not here to put them down. We've said a few things, in criticism and in compliment, and we wish them all the best. May Ameristralia continue doing what they're doing. And yeah, there'll be another video in this series, not straight away. It'll be for a while. I'm going to spread them out a little bit, maybe one a month potentially, and I'll put them in a playlist, so they will all be there in the future. But if you do want to get the alerts, you need to subscribe, you need to get the bell on, and then you'll get the alerts when any videos go up. But if you'd like to see the exclusive videos, if you'd like to see the behind the scenes footage, if you'd like to see the stuff that we keep only for Waywoodians, then you're going to have to join that Patreon and become a Waywoodian citizen yourself. The links are all below. I'm going to see you in a video next time where we talk more about micronations, macronations, Waywood communities, trade, and our own personal experiences and what we are doing, and etc, 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 as we continue to grow this beautiful acorn into a mighty oak tree. Huzzah!